Hello and welcome to the Real Talk and Banter podcast. I'm Amari,
And I'm Jay.
and today we will be discussing FernGully, The Last Rainforest, a 1992 animated film. This is our first animated feature, and I'm very excited. How do you feel?
It's nice. It's nice to do a break from the norm and look into animated movies. Like, we all grew up in the 90s of Pixar and Disney and animation and everything. So it's a nice little callback to our childhood for sure.
I liked how vague your answer was, and you spoke about the time in general and not about this movie in particular. I'm
I would, this
Yeah.
is not one of our best, but either way.
Whoa, hold up.
Okay.
I have some numbers for you
Okay.
that will indicate otherwise.
Oh, okay. We got
So you
numbers.
did not watch this as a child?
I did
You
not
did not
watch
watch
this
this as a child. This
no.
is your first time.
Yes.
Okay. So that might make it tough since it was made for children. But let's see how we will unfold what you thought about this movie. I will give a quick synopsis first. So the movie, FernGully, The Last Rainforest, it is about some fairies. Yes, some fairies that live in this forest. The forest takes place in Australia, and they
Oh.
have humans. Oh wow! Did you not get that?
I mean, there was a random kangaroo, and I was like, where did a kangaroo come from? I was so confused.
Yeah, there was like cassowaries in there as well. Like there were some
Very distinct Australian animals, and I was
fauna in
confused.
there.
I'll be very
Yes.
honest. I was like,
Now,
what kind of...
nobody had an Australian accent,
Yeah.
so that's
That
tough.
was tough.
But if you're familiar with Australian geography, topography, you would know that Mount Warning, which they do mention in the movie, is in Australia. I was not aware of
I
that.
was not aware of that
However,
either.
when Zach became shrunken down and Krista looked at his wallet, if you freeze frame, you could read, and it shows that it was a Australian driver's license on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, so you have fairies, you have humans. They live in separate worlds. There's this dangerous being called Hexus, which is a representation of pollution and sludge and slime. I'm assuming 100 years ago, the fairies locked Hexus away into this tree. In present day, the humans are going through, doing as humans do, chopping down the trees. Deforestation is taking place. In doing so, Hexus is released. One human boy, he is 16 years old, is shrunken down accidentally by Krista, our main protagonist, and together they have to figure out how to stop the humans and save Fern Gully, which is the forest, from being destroyed. That is pretty much the entire movie right there. How did you feel about this? Okay, I don't want you to rate it. I just want to know you're watching this. So I told you, I said, hey, I picked our movie for episode 6. It's going to be our first animated feature. I remember I was pretty dramatic about it. And then I told you we're going to do FernGully, The Last Rainforest. You gave me no reaction other than, I think, cool. And that was it. We haven't spoken about the movie really until now. So, just walk me through your journey with this movie.
All right. So, yes, when you said it was gonna be Fern Gully, my first reaction was like, "What the hell is that?" To be very honest, like I had never heard of it, not even like a little bit. So I was like, "Okay." Yeah, we were all pretty. Like I said in the beginning, we are pretty big on like TV and movies and animated movies. So it was just kind of weird to. I'm not saying I've seen every single animated movie in the world, obviously not, but to at least not hear of it, I'm like, what's this? But because you were so like animated about it, like, oh, this was my childhood movie, I was like, let me give it a shot. That's why I didn't have a reaction. I was just like, all right, cool, because I don't know nothing about it, but you're my boy, and you're like, hey, this is a great movie. So I'm like, okay, let's see what happens. Overall, I have to admit, like I said, my initial reaction was just like shitting all over this movie. It was just like, what is that? What is this? What is that? Like, nothing made sense to me. But then I had to think about it, like, okay,
Oh,
this movie is intended to be for a 5 to 10-year-old, maybe in the 90s. So, well, actually,
yep.
it came out in 92. So, you're maybe two to 7. Let's say that range or whatever. So I really had to kind of
Yeah.
step back and put myself in the mindset of a child in that time,
Mm-hmm.
and that helped
Mm-hmm.
tremendously. Because at first it was what the hell, but after that it was like, all right, I see the themes, I see what's going on, I see it's a interesting introduction to climate change and deforestation and pollution and all that stuff, which you know
Yeah.
I think at especially in the 90s, it was definitely starting to ramp up of like those kind of conversations. Because in the 70s and 80s, they didn't give a shit. I mean, they was smoking and
Oh
blowing
no,
smoke in
for
your
sure.
face as a kid. So
Yep.
it wasn't until like the
Yep.
90s they started saying, "Hey, this is kind of bad." So trying to teach
Maybe
those
we shouldn't
themes.
destroy the place.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
we shouldn't do that. So yeah, it was a nice introduction to the themes. Um, I like the music. I like the songs. They were
Okay.
decent. I did like the songs. um, the only thing about some of the songs were kind of a little much for like a kid. I thought like
Yeah.
Hexus
It's funny
is
you say that.
what?
Yes.
Go ahead.
That version that version of Hexus's song is actually they redid it because the original version of it was too sexual and suggestive and dark for kids.
Oh wow.
So the one that you that is the improved version of the
Oh
song that
wow.
you heard in the movie. Also, so Tim Curry is the one who voiced
Yeah, yeah,
Hexus,
I saw that.
and his reading of the lines also was way too sinister. They had to call him back in and say, "Listen, man, you're scaring the shit out of these kids. Dial it back a little bit, So he had to retake a lot of his lines just to ease up on it.
Yeah.
So just picture that your comments you're about to make, that song and his entire performance. That is the watered down version of whatever the hell he did initially,
Yeah, I want to hear
which
the
is
original
awesome.
version because I might have to put that on my
I know.
on my Spotify or something because yeah, I listened to Toxic Love and I was like, I don't know if this is appropriate for
Yeah.
kids, but I
Yep.
mean, it had this one line where it was like it's acid rain pouring down like egg chow mein, and I was like, what the fuck did you just say? But I mean, hey, that's a
Yeah.
great way to explain toxic love. So I mean, like I said, once I took myself back into like a child mindset, it was much better, and I thought it was a good introduction into those themes for the most part. So now I have to flip this on you.
Uh-huh.
So you loved this
Yes.
as a kid. This was your suggestion. Now that you've seen it as an adult, how do you feel about things?
I still like it. Um, it will forever be near and dear in my heart. And I just, in watching it as an adult, I became very aware that you may not be enjoying the movie for obvious reasons. It is a children's movie, but there were some performances that I liked in the movie. There were some themes where and I actually thinking I should have had my son watch this and got his take on it, and I
Mm,
think I might do that the
yeah,
next time we have an animated movie,
yeah.
especially a children's animated movie. I'll have him watch it with me, and
Especially
I'll
a
get some of his
90s
feedback.
animated movie. I think that'd have been a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
ad to see
Cause
like what his thoughts were.
this ain't no Paw Patrol. You understand what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
right.
So a lot of our movies, our cartoons were pretty dark, such as this one got dark at times. But so 92, obviously I didn't watch this theatrically, but we had it on VHS.
Hmm.
VHS, for those underage listeners, it's a giant rectangular object that you would put into another old appliance that would play the movie for you. Anyway, so I had this in
I'm gonna be very
VHS,
honest. That's a
and
horrible description of VHS.
I don't. How do you explain a VHS to someone who's never seen one before?
I don't know, a giant cassette, perhaps, maybe. Well, then cassette is another old.
What the
statement.
fuck is a cassette?
Right,
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Okay,
exactly. Yeah. So okay.
All right. So it's a giant box that goes into another box, and it plays movies. Got it.
I said an appliance. Okay.
Hey.
Plays movies. Anyway, so we had it on VHS. I'm pretty sure we watched it. We being my brothers and I. We watched it a bunch.
Do you know what VHS stands
It's ingrained as. Isn't it like video home system?
I don't know. I was asking you.
No?
I figured you knew.
Oh, damn. Wow. Okay, how about you look that up while I finish my thing? So,
Right.
we watched it, my brothers and I, we watched it several times. Fond memories, loved it. In watching it now, a lot of what happened, it was just the nostalgia is there and it's just shaking off the rust of, oh yeah, I remember this, oh yeah, I remember that. So, I still enjoyed the movie. However, I did become aware that we couldn't have our typical discussion about this movie as we've had in our past selections, just because I don't want to be sitting here just destroying this children's movie, and it doesn't have, I guess, the substance. We just came off of Inglourious Bastards, and I think this is a nice palate cleanser from that, but we can't have that level of insight into it. There are some thematic things in here that we will get into lightly, because we're not about to make this a Greenpeace political save the environment podcast at all, but we will touch on some of those items. I have a few facts for you, right? Because I know you were talking about not knowing the movie and it's just going unknown, right? I'm gonna dig into the box office numbers for a little bit here, right? So the budget on this movie was, I think it was $24 million.
Wow, 24 million for animation in 90s? That sounds super high.
That might be wrong then. Hold on. Yeah, the budget was $24 million for this thing.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, and it grossed $24 million in the US, 24.7 in the US. Worldwide, it grossed $32.7 million. 3.4 million of that was in Australia, right? I adjusted that 32.7. I adjusted. I didn't do the math. I Googled to find out what it would be adjusted for inflation, which would be 57.5 million today. It's not a lot of money.
No.
It is not. However, if we dig into some of the box office numbers, and if you remember, during this time of year, if I ask you what animated studio is reigning supreme, your answer would obviously be
Pixar.
Well, Disney.
Or Disney, yeah.
No, Pixar, because Pixar and Disney, I don't even think they had merged yet at this point in time.
Yeah.
But Disney, right?
Yeah.
Specifically, where this movie is released during what was called the Disney Renaissance. The Disney Renaissance is from 1989 to 1999. Prior to the Renaissance, it was kind of like a dark ages for Disney. Movies weren't selling good. They were not making a lot of money, right?
Correct.
So I went back and I looked up the box office numbers for the movies that were released during the Renaissance period. So starting in 1989, and I stopped at 1992. I didn't concern myself with what came after that. But things such as The Lion King, for example, which I believe was in 1994, is obviously going to gross a ton of money.
Correct.
Because that's considered one of Disney's greatest movies, right?
Yeah.
So, can you tell me 1989, 1990, 1991, and 1992, those are the 4 years we're looking at. Can you tell me what movies Disney released in those years? Come on now. I know. It's 4 movies, one for each year.
Snow White.
Wow. I'm going to stop the game right here because you're terrible at it. Snow White being one of Disney's first movies? Like, what are you doing? You're off by like 50 years or something.
I said that. As soon as I said it, I was like, Snow White is like fucking 1930s or something. Like, that's really bad. Okay.
Snow White is 1938. Okay, so
Snow White is
no.
like 1930s. This is bad.
Terrible.
That was a bad guess.
Terrible.
I don't know what happened there. Okay.
Again, your years are 1989 to 1992, which is when we were alive.
Yes.
Well, starting in 1990.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so think movies
Okay.
that would have been prevalent during our time.
Oh my god. Like before Lion King, and then Lion King's 94, so I really
Yeah.
I can't think of what Aladdin maybe.
Aladdin is one. Aladdin was
Okay.
released in 1992.
Okay, Aladdin. Whew.
Hmm.
Who else is?
These are very popular movies.
I know they're popular, but it's just like
100
when was
times.
things
No.
released is the question.
Yeah, well, you don't have a good, because as children, we're watching all these movies not knowing they were released like 5 years before we were born.
Mhm.
However, of that 90s time, three of them, Aladdin was one, three of them you should be able to easily guess. And I took Lion King off the board to help you. So you have two more that you can guess, and I'll give you the last one.
All right, so okay, so we have Aladdin, we have Lion King 94. I want to say
Mhm.
Toy Story. No,
That's
that's
Pixar.
Pixar. Yes. Dang, who else is Disney around this? I'm trying not to blend the two. Oh my goodness.
So you're not a Disney. You're exposing yourself.
I
right here
mean,
right
no.
now. I
Wait,
guess I'm exposing you.
You are
That's
exposing
tough.
me. You are exposing me.
That's
But
tough.
you also, like
Uh-huh.
you said, you have to give me some grace because we were like kids. So it's like I'm not like, this was in '92. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I'm trying to think.
But when you think Disney movies, there's like a certain. Okay, here's another hint. The other two movies I want you to guess have been remade recently. Yeah, you're terrible at this. I'm gonna put you out of your misery and our listeners out of their misery. So to begin the Renaissance was The Little Mermaid in 1989. The other movie I wanted you to
dang.
guess
I
was
should know
Beauty
that.
and the Beast.
I also
in
should know that. I
1991.
also should know that.
Yes, duh, you should
Oh
have.
my god.
The one I know you would have a hard time
Ah.
with was the 1990 release, which was The Rescuers Down Under. Okay?
Oh, no, I didn't know
So those
that
are the
one at
first
all.
four movies Disney released
Little
to
Mermaid
start off
and
the
Beauty and the
Renaissance
Beast.
period.
I knew that. I wasn't even thinking.
I know you did.
My bad.
I
My
believed
bad,
in you
readers.
too.
I'm sorry. I wasn't even thinking.
All right.
Till as
So here are
old
the
as
box.
time.
No, you don't get to do that
Damn.
now.
I thought
You
I was
don't get to do
gonna
that now.
make up for that, but okay, I'll stay quiet.
Nope.
My fault. Okay.
So Little Mermaid grossed $211 million.
Jesus.
The Rescuers Down Under is the one outlier on this list. It only made $47 million.
Yeah, because what is that?
Beauty and the Beast, Beauty and the Beast made $424 million,
Oh my
and Aladdin made $504 million.
Wow.
Right?
They were raking it.
So those movies, even Rescuers, I told you, came on under. It still was a top grossing animated film in 1990. So each of those movies I just read you were the top grossing animated films in those years. Here are what numbers 2 and 3 were for each of those years. So in 89, you had Little Mermaid at 211 million. Then you had Kiki's Delivery Service at 41 million. And then you had All Dogs Go to Heaven at $27 million.
Oh, I love
Another
All Dogs
classic.
Go to Heaven.
Oh my
that
God.
Was great.
All right,
I
we will
boo-hoo
circle back to
cried
that
on
movie
that
in a
one.
future
Ah.
episode. Okay. In 1990, behind the Rescuers 47 million, you had the Jetson movie at 20 million
Okay.
and Doraemon, this is out of Japan, at 19 million.
Oh, okay.
Beauty and the Beast made 424. Then you had Fievel Goes West at 40 million. And a movie called Only Yesterday, I believe that was also out of Japan, made 18 million. Fast forward to 1992, which is a critical year, and we'll discuss that in some detail a little bit longer, in a little bit. Aladdin made $504 million. Porco Rosso made $34 million. That is another Japanese film. And then FernGully came in as the third highest grossing animated film of the year at $32.7 million.
Okay.
So, my whole point of this whole exercise is that, yes, you're like, oh, FernGully, what the hell is that? It was incredibly difficult for movies, animated films, to break into, the zeitgeist and the public, the pop culture spectrum, because Disney had a stranglehold on the entire industry. For example, if you take the number 2 and number 3 ranking movies of 1989, 1990, 1991, and 1992, added all up together, that is $234 million that non-Disney movies made in those years. That is 47% of what Aladdin made and 55% of what Beauty and the Beast made. And even for The Little Mermaid, it still only made $23 million more than Little Mermaid. And that's 8 movies that I just told you about.
Yeah.
So, all that to say, let's cut FernGully some slack, okay?
Damn, that was a roundabout way to ask that.
It did really well given the climate and just Disney just being the all-stars that they were. Because during that period in time, FernGully would have been the 4th highest non-Disney animated movie that came out during that 4-year window. So that's what I did. A little homework for you guys today. Woo! Look at me go.
You did.
Look at me go.
You did. You were like, you knew I was gonna rip into this. You're like, I'm gonna defend this.
I knew you
with
were.
Facts and numbers,
you
which you
were.
know I can't argue. I can't argue facts and numbers. So
I know. I have
Alright.
this is a spreadsheet I'm looking at too, by the way. Okay, so yeah. FernGully debuted at number 5 on its release weekend. It never went any higher than that, but it did okay. So FernGully is also notable. Let's look at the cast of FernGully really quick, right? So we had first of all, do you know any of the cast members? Well, that's not fair to ask because obviously you know the GOAT, Robin Williams.
Oh yeah.
Tim Curry. Christian Slater is known, right? You had Samantha Mathis as Krista. Homeboy that played Zach, Jonathan Ward, he like retired acting when he was like 28 years old. I think this was like his last movie that he did or something.
Okay.
And then
Movie so bad
Grace
he had to quit. He's
Zabriskie.
like, yeah, I'm good with this.
Yeah, he's like, I'm done. I'm done. Cheech and Chong was in this movie for whatever that's worth. Okay, cool. But the cast was interesting. It's just so Samantha Mathis, I don't know her, but she is an actor. Like she has an extensive filmography. She's that type of actor. Like if you're watching like Law and Order and they make a big deal about someone and you're like, who the fuck is that? It's her, like she's because you don't know her, but they're treating her as if she's like the special guest or something because she is. I'm not disrespecting her, but so that's the kind of actor she was. Let's talk about Robin Williams. Please tell me that Robin Williams. Please tell me that he at least made the movie for you enjoyable.
Oh yeah, most of my laughs, if not all of them, except some of the darker themes that I picked up on, made me. It was from him, and it was just from the fact that I know that they probably didn't even have his lines written down. They just gave him a mic and was like, "Yo, this is what we're gonna say. Oof. You just improv," and he just did, and that just made it just over the top, just amazing. Like
to your point, what you just said, he was supposed to receive 8 minutes of screen time, Batty Coda, and Robin Williams went in there and recorded 14 hours of dialogue for Batty Coda, and it was pretty much all improvised. Okay?
Yeah.
So they essentially ended up about almost tripling his screen time, but you were right on the money. Like he just went there and improvised the hell out of those scenes and just crushed the role.
Yeah, you could tell because it was just so off the cuff. Like it didn't match the rest of the dialogue or what other people were saying. It was just like
yeah.
It's just that, and he's that guy, right? And we know he's that guy, but it was just like you're in class and you have that one funny friend that no one knows is funny except for like you, like his friends or whatever, when he's just like secretly just saying the most ridiculous things, and you're just like, I wish I could be that funny or off the cuff like that. Like when Krista was trying to change Zach back, and she really didn't know how to control her powers or whatever. And he was turning into all kind of random animals, and Batty Coda was like, Darren's grab bag. I died. Oh. I don't know why, but I died.
That is a good one. That is a good one. Yes.
Yeah, he just had a bunch of just little just things that he just pushed out.
But yeah, random things like that just made the movie. You wouldn't miss Batty when he wasn't on screen, because there was long stretches where he just wasn't anywhere
where
around.
was he? I didn't understand that either. I was like he's part of the group, but he's just swooping in randomly to help, and then he just disappears. And I guess I attributed that to the antenna thing and whatever is going on with the fact that he's been tested on, and he just randomly run into a tree and then just stay there until someone else grabbed him and was like, hey, stop, and then he moves. But I'm like, okay, It was just kind of it
Yeah,
was kind of
it's
weird.
literally they only want him to have 8 minutes. That was really
I
why, you
guess
know.
they
So
didn't
they
want to pay him.
tripled it. Yeah, but well, no. So yeah, let's get into that, right?
Ooh.
So Robin Williams, there was some interesting. There was a bit of a scandal here with this movie.
Oh, let's
So
get into it.
yeah, if you recall, the other 1992 animated, well, the Disney movie was Aladdin,
Mm.
which Robin Williams is famously known for playing the genie
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Aladdin,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? However, I'm pretty sure for those of you that like random trivia, if someone were to ask you what is Robin Williams' first animated feature film role, a lot of people would say Aladdin, but no, it is FernGully. Because FernGully, being released in April of 1992, came out a few months before Aladdin, which was released, I believe, in November of 1992.
Mm.
Right? So here's where the drama is. Robin Williams, so the story, when you look it up, you're gonna see Disney did not want Robin Williams doing both characters. They wanted him to only focus on Genie, and they didn't want two animated creatures to be associated with Robin Williams, especially in the same year, right? I saw another reporting that said technically Disney did not cast the first stone because it looks like some past Disney, they used to work for Disney, some of the writers on this film kind of got a look at who Disney's like desired talent pool was, and Robin Williams' name was on it. Right? Again, Robin Williams had never done any animated films before, so this was about to be a big deal. So when they realized that Disney wanted him for the genie, they jumped the gun and said, "Hey, man, can you do this movie?" Robin Williams, being the great guy that he is, says, "Sure, I would love to. It's a great theme. I love the message about the environment I'm in." At the time, Jeffrey Katzenberg was in charge of Disney. So when they found out, they tried to get Robin Williams to quit the movie and only do theirs. It became a bit of an argument and back and forth. Robin Williams said, "It's my voice. You can't control me. I'm going to do both things. Like take it or leave it,
Right.
essentially."
Right. Exactly. Could you? Oh my gosh! With this, let's stop for a second. Could you imagine a world in which they said this or that, and I feel like Robin Williams would have picked FernGully just to stand on business and have
Yep.
somebody else
Yep.
voice Genie? That'd be like,
W- Well, you don't have to imagine that because in Aladdin 2, The Return of Jafar, Robin Williams does not voice a genie.
yes, I do know that. Yeah,
Right? Because they had a falling out for other stuff that happened.
Yeah.
Robin Williams and Disney had some beefs throughout the years,
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure.
But no, you're right. That would have I just told you Aladdin made $500 million. You know, like in no way would have been as successful if the genie wasn't such a prominent role, to begin with. And I don't have any proof of this, but it's possible that because people saw what little people saw Robin Williams in FernGully, that probably also made them excited to see him. Maybe not. Disney was already a big name, so maybe that's not the case, right? So going back to this whole feud thing, you think Disney, when Robin Williams said, "I'm doing both movies," Disney was like, "Okay, cool, no problem"? False. Disney now decided to try and block the creators of FernGully from being able to make their movie. So whenever it's a smaller studio, this is a Fox movie, a Fox studio movie, but like a small branch of it. Whenever they were bidding on a space or about to go rent a space out, Disney would swoop in, undercut them, and rent out the space. Yeah.
Diabolical.
So these guys are literally looking up. So when they found out what was happening, they found this brewery, and they like on the low was like, "Hey, like let's record here. Let's make our movie here. It's not like a obvious studio recording spot. Like let's just do it here." Well, Disney found out, and they tried to buy the brewery to shut them down. Okay, they were
really
unsuccessful. They were really. This is like corporate espionage type of things happening.
Yeah.
here,
Also,
okay?
yeah. Who was telling
So
them all
they
this
failed.
information? Somebody. They clearly had somebody on the inside because dang.
There's clearly some leaks happening. Absolutely. Ultimately, they were unsuccessful in buying the brewery, and the creators of FernGully were able to finish their movie and put it out ahead of Disney's movie. But that's the back and forth between Robin Williams voicing these two characters in the same year. It was a big thing back in the day.
Yeah. The other thing I was gonna say here And this is just a shout out to Robin Williams because I randomly, I like to watch Tubi. I know you hate it, but I love Tubi. And Tubi just plays movies. They don't care if you watch it or not. So randomly, I was getting ready for work or whatever, and RV came on, and RV is a movie also starring Robin Williams. And
Oh yeah. Ooh.
oh, okay. And I mean, like, you could just see like how much joy he brought onto the screen just in his just it doesn't even seem like he was acting, which is crazy. Like
Yeah.
he's just there and he just had this type of infectious laugh character, way about himself, whatever it is. And obviously I got immediately sad to know that while he
He's
was
gone.
bringing all that
Yeah.
joy to people, he had his own struggles within himself, where he ultimately decided to take his life and stuff. So yeah, it was just a
Yeah.
huge loss to us, and the people who've been affected with him. Even obviously, I don't know the guy. I never talked to the man, but
Yeah.
he's been a part of our lives for almost our entire lives. Like you said, Aladdin came out.
I mean, couple generations.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like
yeah.
he definitely formed us.
Yeah,
You know.
for sure.
But
Yeah.
he was acting before
Oh
then,
yeah, for
right?
Birdcage and all that.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, he's been on the screen forever. So, yeah, it was just sad to lose that kind of character, because he just did it just so naturally. Um, sorry to bring the world down, but
And
yeah, it just reminded me of
no,
that.
no. I mean, it's I. There was no way we were going to talk about this movie and not spend a sizable amount of time on Robin Williams, because even though his role was small in the movie, he made the movie even more interesting. And he had this habit of, because it's not like you're gonna go through his filmography and say he did all bangers, all hits or anything, but he was always great in his movies. He would take a bad movie and make it watchable, And of course, if he's in a good movie, then he's elevating it to being great. But Robin Williams, just goat, legend. So it is a shame that we lost him at a relatively young, not relative, at a young age, because he could still be making movies, doing animated stuff for our children right now if he was still around. So
For sure, for sure, for sure, for sure.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
So that
I
is
don't.
tough.
So, we got to do it. Favorite Robin Williams movie? Go.
Ooh, I should have known this was coming.
You knew it was coming.
Oh, favorite.
Man's got a lot.
It might. It's. I really want to say Jumanji for some reason.
Jumanji's a good one.
I loved Jumanji. So the movies, when I think Robert Williams, I'll give you these movies that come to my mind, like just off the rip, right? And I know stuff like Good Morning Vietnam, those are better, great movies and all that stuff. But that came out in 1987. As far as like shaping my childhood type of thing, it was FernGully's obviously on my list, Aladdin's on my list, Mrs. Doubtfire, Jumanji. Like those movies. I saw Flubber too. Flubber is kind of but those are the ones that kind of, that's where I go just immediately without like stopping to think about what else has he done. So I'm gonna say Jumanji for now. Well, what do you think?
All right. Even though, like you said, this isn't the best movie he's done, but the most impactful, the most influential, a movie that I could watch like not every day, but time after time, it would have to be Jack for me.
Jack.
Ooh, you know Jack or no?
I don't think I even saw that.
Oh my goodness! Oh shoot!
Here it is,
I
1996 film.
should have pulled that one out for you.
Oh wow, yeah. Rotten Tomato score is 17%. Yikes.
Like I said, it wasn't the best movie he's ever done.
You did say that. You did
But
say
the most
that.
influential, the movie that I've watched several times, is Jack. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But if we're doing his best one, as far as what I consider his best one, is probably it's Goodwill
Hell
Hunting.
yeah,
Is
hell
probably the
yeah.
real
I was
answer.
gonna try to
That's
match
probably the
you,
real
but I didn't
answer.
want to embarrass us and say like two
Ye-
different movies.
No, you're right. No,
It's
you
absolutely
like,
Goodwill Hunting. Like you cannot beat that one.
yeah. That came out in '97, so I definitely didn't. I watched that more. When I say more recently, I was an adult. I did not watch that, um, even close to when it was released.
Yeah,
But that is such a great movie.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Goodwill
Yeah.
Hunting is definitely
So
like
the-
top movie.
That's probably the real answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then there's like Dead Poet
Dead Poet
Society.
Society,
and all those other things.
100%. Yes, 100%. Yes. All
But
right.
Robert Williams, rest in peace. Pouring out for him.
Heck yeah. What are we
Or-
pouring out?
or light it
That
up.
was light it up. Oh my
I
god.
don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Or sit there solemnly and reflect.
Reflect.
Whichever is
Shara
your,
laughed
your
in
cup of
his
tea.
honor.
All right, so let's get into the thematic discussions of the movie,
Let's
right?
do it.
And there's one big overarching theme. It's essentially is about deforestation and pollution. So my question for you is, did that message land for you? Did they land that for you?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure,
How
for
did
sure.
they do?
Um, I mean, yeah. So that theme definitely was pretty prominent there, and it did land, and it did in a nice way where it was. I can understand it how it would resonate with children and younger kids and younger people, and even the adults, that may have been watching with their children. I think one of the scenes that really pop out to me that I remember is right after Zach and Krista start to get close or whatever. She wakes up and she hears like sawing noises or banging noises, and Zach for whatever reason is downstairs carving Krista into a freaking tree. First of all, I was like, how insensitive. Like, what the hell?
Like a
It
psycho.
was weird. It was so weird. But either way, she like comes down. It's like, what are you doing? And he's like, what do you mean? This is your name. Ha 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 ha. Something like people would normally do. And she touches it. She grabs his hand and touches a tree. And she's like, can't you feel its pain? And you could see it like glow red and something like that. And she's like, you could feel the pain. So I thought it was a good introduction of the theme that even though trees obviously can't speak, or at least they don't speak to us, they're alive. They're living, breathing things and organisms, and they're important to an ecosystem. Generally the heart of the ecosystem. So I thought it did a very good job with that, and kind of introducing those themes in a way that is understandable to kids. Like, hey, these things are alive, and when we damage them or break them, we hurt them in a way.
An impactful scene for me were the scenes with Maggie in it, which I have mixed feelings about Maggie.
Oh my god, she
because
pissed me off. I'm gonna be honest. She pissed me off. I was like, what the fuck?
She ultimately served no real purpose in the movie. She didn't do anything. They had this gorgeous, beautiful scene of her sacrificing herself.
Yes.
For what?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Bro, that is
have
my note
no
here.
idea.
I was like, first, oh my, okay, I don't want to skip. I don't know. Go do your thing until we get to the end or whatever.
Yeah, we can dump on the scene, but if I could focus on the positives of it.
Yeah,
right?
let's go to the positives.
She had two quotes. She had three quotes that I feel were very impactful during this period, right?
Okay.
And the first is when Krista came to talk to her about what's going on and everything, and Maggie delivers this line that says, "All the magic of creation exists within a single tiny seed," which that's very interesting when we talk about the environmental sense and how precious nature is and all the flora that surrounds us. But I took it a step further when you talk about the seed, humans coming from a sperm, a seed, and an egg, and so forth, and just talking about creation as far as giving life and being born into this world. And like I interpret that as a message about how we are all special, we are all have our own magic in some sort of way. You just have to find it, And then she followed that up right before she heroically sacrificed herself. She says to Krista, "Look for the hero inside yourself, Krista. Look to the good and loving heart in you and all others.
Mm-hmm.
For just as the seed holds the power and magic of creation, so too do you and every other creature in this world. That line gave me chills,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it was very powerful, and it just kind of strengthened my sense. Okay, now we're going beyond just nature, but we're talking about the human experience and the potential of the human being and how there's innate goodness in each of us and how we're able of doing great things once we access it.
Yeah.
And then the last thing she says to Krista right before as she's fading away, she says, I love you, I will always be with you, we all have a power and it grows when it is shared. So now we're introducing the theme of love and loving other people and how powerful we are united as one. I thought all of this stuff was so beautiful, very profound, and it ultimately did not go a goddamn place because that fairy just disappeared into the ether and that was it.
That was it.
She was gone,
She was gone.
you know? So I have a little bit mixed feelings about it. Again, ultimately, I think the words and the message, and maybe I could be overthinking it, but I feel that stuff is very powerful. Did the movie pay that stuff off? I'm not entirely sure. I don't really think it did because it's a deforestation and pollution. It's an environmental story. That's what the story is about. So these quotes that I just pulled don't necessarily deal with the main theme of the movie, but it is something nice. Like if you're watching it with your family, your kids, those are nice words and a nice message to convey. Even though if the movie wasn't itself concerned with actually, wasn't concerned itself with that message in its entirety.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. So I thought. So yes, I agree. I like I started with Magi pissed me off in the beginning, at the end because I was like you said, the sacrifice was almost unnecessary. Like it didn't make any sense because at the end they still really didn't do anything. Like Krista finally stood up and tried to do something, and then eventually they started up. I'm like, I feel like Magi could have just done it herself. So I didn't really understand
Yeah,
her own
agreed.
act of sacrifice to give it to everybody else. Also, I thought Magi is, I guess, hundreds of years old because she trapped the Hexus in the first place. So I'm like, where has she been doing all these years? Like, why hasn't she been teaching people this whole time? Why she hold on to the information until the last second when they needed it, and then was like, you'll figure it out, light. I'm like, what is that? Like, why did Krista not know how to do things already? I mean, but Krista also was like, I guess, some kind of version of teenager.
She was a shit student.
Yeah, she was bad.
Yeah.
In the beginning, like Magi's talking to her, she's obviously like, yeah, I don't care. I'm gonna go talk to Zip, or is it Zip? No, not Zip.
Pip.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Pip.
go mess with Pip
Pips.
or whatever. So I'm like, clearly she didn't care, which is fine. But there had to be other fairies there that cared and should have been trained up. So.
Oh no, Krista was the chosen one. I literally have that. I had that Krista is fairy Jesus.
Is that
How
what it
she
is?
died. Yeah, she got resurrected after they destroyed Hexus. Yeah, she was clearly the chosen one.
Yeah, she was obviously the protector, the next person in line, sure. But it just, like, her sacrifice, though beautiful, it was a very nice scene, and it was done well to represent kind of death and Magi, I guess, kind of making the ultimate sacrifice, which is also a nice theme of, like, sometimes you have to, give of yourself for the bigger picture or the greater good, as they like to push down our throat and stuff like that. So it was a nice theme, and definitely a good way to show to kids that kind of, like, moral, I don't want to say superiority, but almost like I don't want to say superiority, that sounds bad, but that kind of guidance in your moral compass, I'll just say that.
Yeah.
But aside from that, and then also it did bring the theme as well as with, like, the trees being cut down and they can't be brought back, or it's hard to bring them back once we cut down on them. It also kind of brought up the theme of our elders and all the knowledge and wisdom that our elders hold, and if we don't listen to them, or at least use some of some of their guidance, all that knowledge is gone. When
It's
once they're
gone. Yeah,
gone,
that's a good
then
point.
you're like, well,
That's a good
I know
point.
they figured this out 200 years ago, but I didn't bother to listen, so I have no idea. I guess I have to start over, and now you're going through the pains that they
Mm-hmm.
did, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, whatever the answer is there. So, I think it was also a nice little like listen to your elders kind of conversation as well that helped.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. And so you see, there's some good things in the movie. There's some good scenes, good thematic things. It's not just childish garbage.
No, no,
It can be impactful.
it was impactful.
You
It was
know,
impactful. Like I said, once I took it out of like my adult mind, looking at a '90s $30 million animated movie, it definitely had some nice themes and some good introductions to some pretty difficult conversations to have, especially when you try to think about the '90s and what was coming before that with the '70s and the '80s, where they really didn't give a shit. You didn't have to wear a
yeah.
seatbelt. You didn't. You could do a smoking, non-smoking section and just blow smoke into kids' face, and good luck. Like, people were cutting
Yeah.
down forests like crazy. Just we were just pumping. Industrial was just going. We were just pumping, pumping, pumping. Like, we need this, we need this, we need oil, we need trees, we need all this stuff, and there was no real concern for, all right, what happens when this is over, and then you kind of, or when you run out, because these resources took hundreds of years to grow, and now you're cutting them down. Like, what are you gonna do at that point? And then everybody's like, oh yeah, well, I don't care. So it's like, hey.
So my last point, last discussion point in the movie before we start to rate it is, did other films handle this message better? That's what I was interested in finding out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it is a children's movie, and themes like this often get repeated. So I was able to find a list of animated movies or children's movie in general that have um, environmental themes and stuff like Wall-E, for example, more recently
Oh,
comes
I
up. You have
love
Free
Wally.
Willy from back in the day.
Free
Wall-E's
Willy.
great.
Yeah.
Free Willy from back in the
Yeah.
day. But this is a Wikipedia chart I'm using. It had the specific theme of deforestation, being involved.
Mm-hmm.
So I found 4 animated movies. Ironically, 3 of them came out within a year of another.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fourth one is The Lorax, which came out in 2012.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah. The Lorax was
Yeah.
good. The Lorax was
So
good. I was surprised.
it,
I didn't see
I
it when it
enjoyed it.
originally. Oh, you never saw it?
No, I saw it.
Oh,
No, I enjoyed it. I
oh yeah,
enjoyed it.
yeah. I didn't see it at first, and then it came on at some point. I was like, oh, this isn't bad at all. Lorax is pretty good.
Yeah.
Um,
So the Lorax Rotten Tomato score was, and again, we're using Rotten Tomatoes. I understand it's an imperfect score, but that's what we have,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
The Lorax had a Rotten Tomato score of 53%.
Okay, that's decent
Okay.
for a movie.
So it's decent.
Mm-hmm.
FernGully, released in 1992, its Rotten Tomato score was 67%.
Oh, okay.
Pretty solid.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a solid movie.
The following year, I know, justice for FernGully. The following year, Once Upon a Forest was released in 1993 and received a Rotten Tomato score of 22%.
Ooh.
Not very good. It
Better
was
than
produced by
Jack.
Hanna-Barbera and distributed by 20th Century Studios.
Mm-hmm.
Just from like, I'm gonna just judge a book by its cover because I obviously haven't watched this, so I'm not gonna. But it looks like kind of like a knockoff kind of FernGully. It came the year after. It's dealing about a trio of anthropomorphic mice or animals or whatever. They go on an expedition to find a cure for their poisoned friend. Dang, that's dark. All right, so that got a 22%. The following year now, so this is 3 years in a row, we have animated movies dealing with forestation. We have a film called Pom Poko in 1994. That film is out of Studio Ghibli. Are you familiar with Studio Ghibli?
I am not.
You should become familiar with it because they make animated gold over there in Japan. Some of their popular ones are like Spirited Away is considered one of the greatest like anime or animated films, and then there's like Ponyo and Kiki's Delivery Service and everything. But they have a lot of really good animated movies. So Studio Ghibli did Pompoko in 1994, and it received an 86% score on Rotten Tomatoes. And immediately, I'm like, I need to watch this because why did it score so high? You know, so that's just a little fun fact. Anybody want to do some future watching and looking for this kind of thematic thing?
Yeah.
Those are your options.
Yeah.
Maybe stay away from Once Upon a Forest, but FernGully is always a win. The Lorax was a solid movie in 2012, and it's a Dr. Seuss, film. But Pompoko, 1994. Let me read a quick little. It is about the film centers around a colony of Japanese raccoon dogs living in the outskirts of Tokyo as they work to combat the growing deforestation of their home. So that's what the movie's about. So check it out. If you're interested.
I think another
Any
movie.
final thoughts before we start ranking?
Oh,
Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say I think another movie that kind of not necessarily with deforestation, but with at least an outsider coming in and trying to change things. The very natural nature centered world is definitely comes to mind. Pocahontas is another one that came out.
Oh yeah.
Of course, they were talking about like colonization, which is even worse. But but I mean, kind of similar themes though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bambi shows up on that list too all the time, which I kind of forget that Bambi was kind of about like dealing with the environment as well.
I'm gonna be very honest. I never
hunting and
watched
poaching
Bambi.
and stuff.
I'm gonna be very honest. I think I saw the
What?
beginning. I had the movie. I think I saw the beginning.
What?
Bambi's mom got killed, and I was like, this is too much for me, and I was out.
Whoa, spoiler! No, I'm kidding. But that's crazy. That's crazy that you've never seen.
I never saw Bambi.
I'm
I'm gonna be honest.
We're gonna talk about that off air. That's
Never
nuts.
saw Bambi.
That's,
Sorry. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Wow.
The other thing that I pointed out
Wow.
here is centering around that and like how easily I want to say minority civilizations accept outsiders. It just made me like roll my eyes because similar to Pocahontas with her guy with John, and then with Krista and Zach, like she ain't never seen this. She barely knew what a human was, and she was like, "Hey guys, look at everybody." And then at first, when she brought him into FernGully, and had all the other fairies there and everybody else. At first, they were kind of like, "What's that?" Which is hilarious. Every time they saw this man, they was like, "What's that?" Which just killed me.
Which he just doesn't have wings and pointy ears.
Yeah,
guys.
it's like he looks
what do you mean,
exactly
what's
like
that?
you, which I guess that's all you need.
Yeah.
But whatever. What's that still sent me every time I heard it. But the other thing was like they were all conscious or a little weary of him, and then as soon as like he started like singing and dancing, they were like, "You're cool," and I was like, "What the flips? Like why are you so easily accepting?" And I was like, I guess that's
So
I had the note here, which is kind of dark. I was like, I guess this is
Uh-huh.
what the Native Americans needed to not murder the colonizers immediately. Nah, is apparently the key
Jesus.
to it. Because why didn't they? I still understand it.
That is super dark.
I know it's dark.
So you wanted this movie to also deal with xenophobia?
Yeah, I did. I did want
as
it
well.
to as well. I mean, you might as
Okay.
well tackle it because there was a couple times where I'm like, there's the one scene where Pip tried to get Zach to leave with him. I was like, he was definitely gonna murder that guy. Like, I don't care what you say,
Oh,
but
for
he was
sure.
definitely gonna murder, like, drop him off the top of that beetle and be like, oh, whoops, he fell. And then Krista came along and was like, not now. And he's like, you're lucky, or whatever the hell he said.
All right, let's rate this
Let's
thing.
rate it.
Um,
Meow meow.
Going through our different arbitrary categories, not arbitrary.
I mean-
Plot and writing. What would you give that?
Okay, I would give it a solid 4.
4 for plot and writing.
4.
Yeah, that's fine. I had a 5 for that.
Okay.
Acting and casting.
I mean, aside from Robin Williams,
I know it's tough to score this.
yeah, 2. I don't know.
Damn. So you give it a 2?
Yeah, 2.
Okay. I get Robert Williams warrants a 5. I give it another 5 for that.
That's fair. But he only had like you said, he was supposed to get like what? You said 18 seconds.
I
Like
know.
anyway.
I said 8 minutes, but yeah.
18 seconds
But they
works.
increased it because they realized how great he was. All
All
right.
right, fine.
Uh, production, visuals, and cinematography.
That's a good one. For the '90s, it was right
Mm-hmm.
along with like animation at that time. Like I said, I thought the scene with Maggie when she gave herself, or Maggie when she gave herself up was actually very pretty and well done. So I'll give it a
Mm-hmm.
5.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm giving this thing fives across the board. Yeah, I give it a 5 as well. Music and sound. We did not talk too much about the music. You did say you liked it. Alvin Silvestri did the score. I think this is our second Silvestri movie.
What
Um,
was the other one?
Alvin Silvestri. I believe he did the score for The Predator.
Mm. I thought the music was just decent. I like that they had like each song had kind of like a different theme. Like it had a well, I don't know. Toxic Love was kind of like a burlesque theme. I don't know. That was kind of like you said, that was kind of sexual. But
Yeah.
then they had the hip hop with the slug that was about to eat him. Or no, it wasn't a slug. It was what was that? Komodo dragon.
Komodo dragon,
Yeah,
I think.
Komodo
Yeah.
dragon was trying to eat him, and they had to. That scene reminded me of like the meme. You know the meme with the like white lady who's like trying to teach hip hop and like. Have you seen that?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
Oh gosh.
But it was like, all right, well, whatever. So I like that they have different themes, kind of introducing different music, which again also very nice for kids. So like, oh, what's
Mm-hmm.
that? And get interested. And it had a little jazzy stuff. It had the, kind of classical, not kind of, it had the classical, and then like more the concert, band
Yeah.
type thing. So
Some pop stuff.
yeah, some
Yeah.
pop stuff. So I think they were kind of eclectic, which is very nice. Where it just wasn't like one type of thing, which is also needed. So I mean, for Toxic Love alone. Oh, I actually just read up on this too because I had to look it up a little bit. They said that Tim Curry kind of improv some of Toxic Love too. I was like, what
Okay.
was he thinking? But either way, I give it a 5. I give it a 5.
Oh, okay. I I give it a 7.
Okay.
Just thinking, like as a kid, you would really be into those songs, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it was a bop.
I give it a 7.
Yeah, it was a bop.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah.
bop for sure.
And then lastly, cultural impact. What would you give it for cultural impact? I'm very curious.
I gave it a nice solid 7.
You give it a 7?
I did.
Explain, because nothing you've said indicates that you would give it that score.
What do you mean? I've been talking about how it introduced nice themes the whole time. Now, okay, I give it a cultural impact because I don't, and I maybe, I didn't do a ton of research on this, so take it with a grain of salt, I guess. But I didn't
Mm-hmm.
but I think this is one of the first animated movies I could think that are really tackling this type of conversation and challenging kind of a norm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
It is.
that warrants a higher rating, and not only within its movie itself, but when you explain, how they were battling the big bad Disney, trying to stop them. They had to make the movie in a brewery. Robin Williams is being
Yeah.
challenged, and all those things. I think
It's his first animated
it's
film.
his first animated
Yeah.
film. The introduction to Robin Williams as an animated character. After that springs off Aladdin, Happy Feet.
Yeah.
What else was he in? Anyway, either way, I almost said Captain
Yeah.
Hook, but I was like, nah, that was real. Not bad.
In addition to what you're saying too, Wayne Young, one of the creators of the movie, he did state that portions of the film's gross would be donated to Greenpeace, the Rainforest Foundation Fund,
Yeah.
and the Sierra Club.
Yeah. So for that,
They
I give him a
also,
7.
yeah, yeah. Okay, all right, good. I gave an 8.
Look at you.
Yeah, yep. I can't let you score higher than me, but yeah. All right, that's my movie. That's our movie.
Hey.
FernGully, The Last Rainforest. Not too bad. All right, Jill went from being like, "What the hell is this?" to enjoying and dare I say, respecting the film. So this was a successful
Yeah, respect
episode.
yeah, you know what? I respect it. You're right. successful.
Yeah.
You introduced something
respect.
to me
I'm
that
not
I
saying you
hadn't
love
seen
it or
before,
anything.
which I appreciate.
All right, that'll do it. That is our real talk and banter on FernGully, the last
FernGully.
rainforest.
I don't even have like a song to
Thank
sing
you.
like the other stuff, so I don't know what to do about it.
No, you could have learned. I expected you to learn the bat rap actually,
I
or toxic love since you were talking so much about it. But I expect you to learn the rap.
I was going
I
to
thought you
do
was gonna
that,
do
but then
that.
I was like, that might be too much.
Well, it might have been just enough, but okay.
Well, like I said,
Okay.
acid rain coming down like egg chow mein.
Episode title, maybe?
Hey,
I don't
there
know.
you go.
All right. That'll do it, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We will see you all next time.
See ya. Appreciate it.
Come on now. All right. Well, that'll do it. Those are our real take.
Real talk.
You know, I screwed that up
Bad.
in the last episode.
Yeah,
too.
bad.
Like, I'm gonna have to re-record that and like I'm so
Fit it
annoyed
into
at
the other
myself.
one?
God. Yeah, I screwed it up, and I was like, what the hell did I do? Anyway,